Hunter Biden's story was true. Okay, we now know it was true. And the typical corporate media outlets, they just chose to ignore it. Obviously, they wanted to beat Trump. We rely on social media to go around that, not let corporate legacy media outlets control the discourse and let us speak. What they said at the time, oh, it's a conspiracy or it's based on hacked information. Are you kidding me? You're trying to tell me if there was hacked information that could damage me, you guys wouldn't print it? Give me a break. You can whiz on my leg, but don't tell me it's raining.
Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican governor of Florida. Welcome to Newsmax, sir, and well done yesterday. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Terrific. And let's face it, social media needs to change in a big way. First things first, though, do you think, tell us a little bit about what you're doing, but could this possibly, your efforts, get Donald Trump back on Twitter?
Well, that remains to be seen. But I think what we're doing, and I was there when we did the press conference, I had the Speaker of the Florida House and the President of the Florida Senate. So we got strong support in the legislature for this. But we're really looking to do three things. One is protect the data privacy of Floridians. I mean, these tech companies take the data, they sell it on these exchanges. It's unbelievable what they're allowed to get away with. Number two, prevent big tech from interfering in our elections. And yes, that would involve potentially deplatforming candidates, particularly in competitive races. It also could mean them suppressing information or elevating information to benefit a preferred candidate. Those are effectively in-kind contributions. And then the final thing is just the general censorship and deplatforming. You know, for example, they'll have these terms of service, they'll change it all the time, or they won't apply it equally. We're letting individual Floridians file suit under Florida's Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act, as well as our state attorney general under the same law, to be able to hold big tech accountable when they're doing this in ways that are totally biased and unprincipled. So I think what we're doing is really providing a framework to create a social media environment and a broader internet environment that was really what the original vision was. I mean, you go back 10 years, you didn't have this type of censorship. So I think that this is the right thing to do. And what I found on these things, Greg, is you just got to lead. And until someone leads, no one does it. So Florida has been leading on a lot of things over the last couple of years. We're leading again. And I think you're going to see other states follow suit.
Governor, you nailed it there about leading. A lot of other, that's what's different about you. A lot of politicians look left, look right. They look to the media. They look for guidance. They look for permission. But you take the initiative time and time again. That's what sets you apart. You don't have to comment on that, but with that in mind.
Well, no, but I think, Greg, I mean, I think it's about, you know, when you get elected, are you going to get elected and then do the things you said you would do? And then as new issues arrive, exercise leadership. That's what people in Florida want to see. You don't have to put your finger in the wind. You don't have to I have not taken a poll since I've been governor. I don't need to. I got to do what's right. I got to do what the folks expect me to do. So that's kind of the model. I think some politicians, well, too many politicians, they get elected and then they think their sole job is to just continue to get elected when actually you get elected to do things. And that's what we've been able to do. I mean, because of all the stuff with Corona, there's been a lot of things that we did last year, for example, that no one even talks about, like E-Verify. We also banned sanctuary cities. So we're going to continue to work on all these issues. But I do think election integrity, big tech, some of these issues are not going away, and we've got to address them head on.
Hey, by the way, you're in Florida. President Trump is now a resident of Florida. He's in Mar-a-Lago, seems to be keeping a low profile. Can you say whether or not you've had a talk with him?
So I have not seen him since he came back down. Obviously, he's having to deal with this farcical trial in the Senate, and I think he's just keeping his head down until that is done. But I think that whole thing is a total joke. And but he, I think he got good news. There was reports that Palm Beach is going to try to kick him out of Mar-a-Lago for some contract, and supposedly they look back and the legal opinion was he has every right to live in Mar-a-Lago. So we'll stay tuned to see how that's resolved.
All right. So 2024, by the way, I have to ask you, actually, somebody did ask me to ask you, Would you run for president? Are you thinking about running for president in 2024?
I'm thinking about governing Florida and then running for re-election in 2022. I mean, it's a really important election for our state. So we just lead here. You know, we do with what it is. I think a lot of the speculation just goes back to what you were saying. Like, people see me out here leading, and they like to see that in the Republican Party, because quite frankly, we need more elected Republicans to show some backbone and to be willing to get in there, fight intelligently, but be willing to lead. And so we're willing to do it. But I do think our state is doing very well compared to these other lockdown states. We continue to have people want to come here, want to invest here. So we're going to continue tending to those issues, and hopefully we'll have a big election victory in 2022. And I'm happy to come on your show, you know, at that point to celebrate that. We got a lot of work to do between now and then.
All right. Well, please come on before the end of next year. Okay. By the way, it's a ghost town up here, and I'm hearing all kinds of great reports about what's happening in Florida. Fantastic. Hey, I want to show this to the folks. You do know how to fight, and you do know how to take on the mainstream media. Very, very cool, actually. Take a look, everybody.
What has gone wrong with, Governor, what has gone wrong with the rollout of the vaccine that we've seen phone lines jammed, websites crashing?
It's a lot of demand.
And
I mean, I think at the end of the day, excuse me.
If I could finish my question.
You just said what has gone wrong, so I'm answering the question.
If I could complete the question, though.
So you're going to give a speech, or you're going to ask a question?
With all due respect, Governor,
you asked a question. I'm going to answer it.
I'm trying to finish my question.
No, you're giving a speech. You asked a question.
I am trying to ask you the.
You're going to ask how many questions? You get 3? They only got 1 question. Why do you get 3?
With all due respect, Governor, I'm just asking if I could finish my question.
You didn't. You finished the question.
So, Governor, when I first saw that weeks ago, I knew that she had engineered a wannabe viral moment, because she had that camera. That was a CNN camera, I believe, on her. So they planned it. They were going to give you a hard time and see what would happen next. Did you catch that?
Well, so at the time, I didn't know that camera was there, but then someone pointed it out to me. And so that's the tell. If you're really there just to gather facts, why would it matter? Why would you need a camera on you? Instead, she was trying to generate fodder for her resume reel or highlight tape and trying to get more notoriety. And so it's more about them pushing narratives than it is about reporting the facts. And of course, they've been very dishonest for months and months, that particular network and reporter. So, but you understand what it is. Nobody should have any illusions about the agenda is with a lot of these people. And I think what I see, particularly in Washington, some of these elected Republicans, they do somersaults to try to please these very left-wing journalists and these outfits. Understand, they don't want Republicans to do well. They don't want us to win elections. And so stop playing their game.
Great advice for other politicians. Great stuff. Governor DeSantis, very impressed. Continued success, and please come back soon.
We will. Thank you.
You bet. You bet.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them. Tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.